Hi, and welcome to Transparent with Tina, a holistic approach for mental, physical, and spiritual well being so you can become the best version of yourself. Welcome to Transparent with Tina. I am Tina Marx, your host. Today's conversation is one I think so many of you are going to feel on a very deep level. I'm sitting down with Stephanie Coulson, the founder of Holistic Goddess, whose work is all about helping women reconnect with their bodies, regulate their nervous systems, and step fully into their power. So, Stephanie, I want to start at the beginning because I think sometimes people see someone doing this kind of work and assume that they've always been grounded, always been aligned, but that's not always the case. So, why
It's
don't
true.
you share how you got into this and let's go from the beginning.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited too.
Um, these are my favorite. I love doing this because I love connecting women together, having beautiful conversations, and then hopefully having women listen to those conversations and feel a piece of themselves or feel seen or feel that they can tackle something or feel empowered. So I'm just really excited. I absolutely love doing this. Um,
Awesome.
So I am a wife and a mom and an entrepreneur, and my kids are 8 and 13
Okay.
and almost 13. I keep saying 13 because I'm like, I'm going to ease myself into feeling that I have a teenager. So it's
13
like,
is quite the age, especially from,
right?
especially for my sister has a girl, and my son's 22, but I remember 14 was very pivotal. And I think 13, 14, whether it's a boy or a girl,
Yeah.
can be very challenging.
Yeah, we're just making this like it'll be end of June, this jump from like 12 to 13. So I keep saying almost 13-year-old because I'm just trying to like, get it straight in my
Get
head
it?
before I hit
Yeah.
it. Anyways, and I'm holistically minded, obviously, having a company called Holistic Goddess. I am very passionate about women understanding holistic health and realizing that there is a different way to do things
Hmm.
if you feel so called and so inclined. My personal journey into holistic health started, I think, as it does for most people. I mean, I had a baby and I started reading labels and going, what is in this lotion? And like, what is in this product? And what is this? And why aren't there simple ingredients? And this is a baby. And then it just sort of snowballed for me from there. And then my personal journey into like women's holistic health happened once my daughter was born. I was 27 and my hormones completely disintegrated about 6 months after she was born to the point where I was testing with the hormonal levels of a 65-year-old woman. And I was like bleeding constantly. Like I literally bled for 8 months after she was born. And I was just incredibly unwell, honestly. She
Did you
was a
did you
really
have
great baby.
did you have what I was going to say PTSD? It's not PTSD. It's what is it when you
Like
have
postnatal depression?
that's
No.
yeah, you didn't have that. Okay.
No, I
But
was
you just
just
had
like unwell in my body. Sorry, there's like I'm in the sunshine, which is a good thing. It's like creating a glare.
Yep.
Um, and I just like my hormones were the problem, right?
Hmm.
And I didn't know how to fix them. And my doctor who delivered my daughter and like the white coat doctors who were helping me didn't know what to do with me either. And they're like, well, we'll put an IUD in you. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want that, but I guess I'll try. And it made it 10 times worse. And then I tried all kinds of things. And they're like, well, I don't know what to do, but you could maybe just like have an ablation, or we could just like take out your uterus. I was like,
At
I'm
27.
27.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's
Not
pretty
like when you're already done.
drastic.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
No. And like, I have chosen not to have any other children, but like, I also didn't want that choice taken away from me. And it just didn't feel right. So I was like, okay, I cannot be broken. Like I was not made broken. There has to be a solution here.
Hmm.
And it was through my own research, working with a naturopath, doing like acupuncture, Chinese herbal medicine, like literally every holistic healing modality that you can do. I
You
spent
didn't
two
have this
years.
with your first child, though. Okay.
No,
All right. Just to be clear. Okay, go ahead.
no. And they're like 4 years apart.
Hmm.
But I was like totally fine in between. So it took about 2 years. But by the time I hit 29, 30, 29 and a half, 30, it's perfect. And I've been perfect ever since, which is so crazy. But I did all the things. I cleaned up my diet. I cleaned up my exercise routine. I paid attention to my cortisol levels. I did some bioidentical hormones for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
like wild yam cream. I did custom herbal tinctures from this like little old Chinese medicine doctor. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
literally, I did everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did that made a huge difference was using castor oil and doing castor oil packs and paying attention to like keeping the lymphatic system draining and all of these things and starting to get my body to try and kickstart itself to work together. And
Yeah.
our hormones are so linked to every system of our body
Oh,
that
yeah.
when like it's a cascade effect, right? When one thing goes, the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was dealing with. And then I was like, well, I can't be the only woman who has had a hormonal journey. And then I started talking to women, and like, I'm hard pressed to find one that hasn't had
That
some sort
hasn't.
of hormonal situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, okay, so let's talk about the castor oil. So
Yeah.
this was how long ago? This was
My daughter's 8.
your daughter's 8. So I just
Yes.
started hearing about castor oil 8, 9 months ago.
So it's ancient, right? Like
It's been,
Cleopatra
oh
was
yeah, I
best
know it's,
known for
yeah,
castor oil.
right.
It goes like this, as with anything, right? And like I think so when you say castor oil, lots of people think, oh, you drink it. No,
Oh,
it's like it's
no, no.
topical. No, but like our grandmothers did.
Wow, I did not know that. Okay, so the
Yeah.
only thing, so the first thing I got was for your body. So I
Yes.
would, because my whole life I put like baby oil on my body before I got out of the shower and I pat it dry and I always had the softest skin. And then some doctor or something says, if you want to raise your breasts naturally, use castor oil. So I'm like, well, that sounds like a good idea, right? So, and it's kind of sticky when you put it on, but tell
It
us
is.
exactly what it does.
Okay, so the magic of castor oil is in the ricinoleic acid, which is this molecule that's found in castor oil that makes it so deeply nourishing, and it actually penetrates through your skin. So like most products, like if we're talking like skincare, like obviously castor oil I love as an entry into holistic health because it does so many different things and it can be used in so many different ways. But I find for lots of women who are like holistically curious, skincare is a good place to kind of start the conversation.
Right?
So if you're buying skincare products and you're putting them on your face, like they are sitting on the surface of the skin, they're actually not penetrating through. Whereas castor oil actually does do that. So my most popular product is and I even have it here so I can show you.
Yeah. I
Is
wonder if
the
it's the one
castor oil and frankincense roll-on.
that's the one you sent me. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it
I
for
love
so
it
many
too.
reasons. First of all, I'm a crystal freak. Okay. I'm always wearing
I love that.
crystals. And the fact that it's the roller part is, yes,
Yes,
the roller head is rose
rose
quartz.
quartz. It
And
is. Yeah.
yeah, open it up and show everybody because I love the size of it. So before I was introduced to
Yeah.
your company, I got one. I'm like, it was like this big. And I'm like, what's that going to do? This,
Yes.
yeah. I use, I don't know how many times I'm supposed to, I use it. My skincare line has always been herbal face food. I've been using them for like 4
They're
years.
great.
Aren't
They're
they
great.
great? Oh, they're
Yeah.
amazing. So then what I do is I don't use that at night. I used to use it 2 times a day. Now all I do is I put this on my face at night because yeah,
Yeah.
for while you're sleeping and everything else. It
Yeah.
also makes an excellent primer for,
Yeah.
if you're going to put tinted moisturizer on or something. Sometimes you have to pat it a little bit because I'm like, let's put it all over. The more, the better. But I
Totally. So you know what I
definitely,
do? I spread it out a little bit. So I do like in the morning when I wake up, I like just kind of rinse my face.
yeah.
And then I'm like still in the sun here, which is not a bad thing. I'm not going to complain about that because like I live somewhere where it's very cloudy all the time. Um, but I'll just like kind of not like wash my face. I'm not like using a cleanser, but I'm like getting my face wet, refreshing myself, waking up. And then I'll put the castor oil on like first thing, like before I have coffee.
Uh-huh.
And then by the time I'm ready to like put on makeup and get ready for the day, it's all already sunk in and like doing all
Oh,
its
that's
magic
the
below the
trick.
surface. Yeah.
Okay, that's the.
Yeah.
You know what? I do it in the morning too. I do it after I put the herbal face food on and
Yeah.
before I guasha because it's good to
Yeah.
get when you're using the gua sha,
Everything moving.
really
Yes.
exactly. Okay.
Yeah,
So outside of it making your skin supple, and it does tighten your skin too,
it
is
does. It definitely does.
what
And
else?
it just helps with all that lymphatic drainage. So the frankincense, because it's in the castor oil, so castor oil is considered the master carrier oil because it is so powerful. Then it drives that frankincense in as well. And frankincense is like Botox in a bottle. Like it's like your natural kind of,
I always
if you want to
wondered
call
what
it
it
that.
did. I didn't know. You hear about it all the time, frankincense, and I just did not know that. So what like
Yeah.
helps reproduce collagen and
It just helps keep everything like renewed, basically. So if you have like bags under your eyes, if you're using it consistently, like I encourage you to take a before and after photo, like take a photo on day 1 and then take a photo on like day 30. You're going to see that those bags are like you're less puffy under your eyes. You have less bags when you wake up. You just glow is really the only way that I can describe it. I don't really use anything else besides castor oil.
oh, you don't
And
use any other skincare products. That's it.
no, yeah,
And
that's
how
it.
long you been doing that?
3 years.
Wow. Okay. That's well, your skin looks beautiful. I mean,
Thank you. And like I'm wearing makeup, but I'm not wearing that much makeup. Like
right.
I just have powder and blush and eyeliner. Like that's it.
Wow. You don't even have foundation on. Yeah,
No,
I've switched from foundation just to tinted moisturizer. We don't
totally.
need as much as we think we do,
We don't. We
and the
really
older I
don't.
get,
And
it's lucky if you get me to put some mascara on. And I'll do my eyebrows and a little lip, and that's about it. So listen, before this happened, after you had your daughter,
yeah.
um, like how are you living your life? Hey guys, okay, let's talk skincare. For most of my adult life, I had a hate relationship with my skin. I struggled with adult acne, discoloration, large pores, psoriasis, and fine lines. I swear, all that changed when I started using herbal face food. I mean, this stuff is powerful. We're talking the world's most potent antioxidant and anti-blemish formula, and the serum is the #1 anti-aging serum in the world, made entirely from 100% botanical plants. No chemicals, no synthetics, 100% all natural. Whether you're dealing with fine lines, dark spots, sun damage, rosacea, psoriasis, melasma, or just want that all day healthy glow, herbal face food has your skin covered. Literally. I've been using all their products for 3 years now, and let me tell you, it's like green juice for your face, only stronger. Remember, whatever you put on your skin goes in your body. So, this is a really important point here, seeing that it's 100% all natural. Give it a try. It's got a 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. You can check them out at herbalfacefood.com. Use promo code TINA20 for 20% off your entire order. That's herbalfacefood.com because your skin deserves the best.
Pretty holistically.
Okay.
I've been like really into essential oils for a long time. So
Oh,
I like understood the power of essential oils, which is why I came up with this, combining like the power of castor oil and the power of essential oils.
right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we live like a pretty clean lifestyle. Like I have all the non-toxic cleaners and we eat organic and I home cook all our meals and I'm like
You're
a crunchy mom.
you're way ahead of the game. You're way ahead. So what do you think was disrupting your hormones? What did you find out? Why were you so out of
I
balance?
don't have a specific answer. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Right.
Um, but I do know that cleaning everything up in my life was the answer and like
Okay.
fixed the problem. I
Right.
don't know what the catalyst was. I don't know if it was just timing. I mean, we know post-birth you get this huge hormonal crash and that's normal. And then
Right.
my body just didn't recover from that. I don't know if it was just too stressed and there was just too much going on. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep for like 10 years between my kids.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I mean, my
But
son didn't sleep. My daughter didn't sleep. She didn't sleep through the night until she was like 5. So like I didn't sleep.
wow.
Yeah, my body
Wow.
just like did
You're
not did not recover
well, that
at
could have
all.
been it right there. The lack of sleep threw everything off,
It just
probably.
had no chance of like any kind of recovery. But
Well, there's I'm a firm believer that your mess turns into your message. So if you had not
I
gone
like
through this,
that.
yeah, you probably would never have founded Holistic Goddess.
No, absolutely not.
So you've built like a really beautiful brand about the idea of being a holistic
Thank
goddess. And I
you.
love that because it feels both empowering and a little mysterious. So what does that actually mean to you in real life? Not just online, but in the messy, like everyday moments to be a holistic goddess.
I love that. Well, what one of my missions is that I want every woman to feel like a goddess, right? It doesn't matter what you look like, where you're from, what your background is, like it doesn't matter. You are a goddess. We all innately have this really beautiful spark inside of us. And we lose it along the way, right? Whether it's society, whether it's family, whether it's social media, like, I think every woman has had a moment where she's looked at herself in the mirror and gone, oh, right? And that's very real.
Hmm.
And I really like the idea of pairing a ritual. So a lot of our language is very ritualistic. So it's like, you're intentionally, using a roller, putting it on your face. I personally am like saying affirmations to myself while I'm doing that
Yep.
and just really feeling that in that moment and intentionally carving out that time. And it's like 2 minutes, right? It's
Hmm.
it's like nothing in the span of my day. But I think I mean, I'm a very busy woman. I have two kids. I homeschool one of them. I'm running a business. Like I'm busy all the time, and I know lots of people feel that.
Hmm.
I especially connect with the mothers, right? Because that is like very much my archetype.
Right.
Um, and and I just want women to feel that, to feel seen, to feel beautiful, to in my world, self-care and self-love are the same thing. And so if you're intentionally carving out time for self-care, then that is your self-love. And that is hugely, when you love yourself and you are taking care of yourself, you can nourish everyone around yourself so much better.
Exactly. And speaking of the word goddess, okay, that's when I hear that, that's di directly connected to your feminine energy. And as you're
100%.
saying, when you're a mother and if you're working and you're this, I mean, I am really doing my best to connect to my feminine energy because
Me too.
I have been a single mom since my son was 5.5 months old. He's 22 now. And, I've had to wear so many hats and
Mhm.
it, you really do have to be intentional about it because
You
that's
do.
otherwise you really fall into your masculine role, and then
You
if
do.
you're with a partner that's going to clash, right?
It's
And
true. I've done a ton of personal work on this. Personally, I live my life intentionally that way because the minute that you can inhabit your feminine, you flow, right? And
yes,
you're not pushing all the time. But
bingo.
that pushing energy is very masculine. And in our society where we are asked to wear so many hats, like you said, we're stuck in that mode all the time. And it really does take that intentional everything in order to achieve that. That's been a huge part of my journey.
Absolutely. I tell my clients all the time, I say, you know what, attract, don't force.
Mhm.
I mean, there's actually a
Yes.
book out called
Yes.
Force versus, oh, I forget. It's not crossing my mind, but um I think that that is right there, very, very important for people to think about and to look at themselves as a goddess. Because you know what? I was listening
Mhm.
to a podcast, I forget which one it was, but they were talking about like how the female as opposed to the male, we're the
Mhm.
ones who are bringing a child into the world. They have something to do with it. But to be able
Yeah.
to, like, we should be so like respected and honored and you, instead of feeling like our worth comes from doing. Okay, that's
Yes.
that's masculine.
Yes.
Feminine is just because we are. And I know that I'm still
Creation. It's creation.
it's creation,
It doesn't
creative.
matter what that means, whether that's like birthing a child into the world or being creative and having a business or having a career that is nourishing to your soul. It's still creating.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I love that. And letting it
Yeah.
come to you while
Yes.
at the same time putting the action in. So that's one of the things that we can do to reconnect more is the self-care. Absolutely. I don't think you can do enough of it.
No.
Something I'm really curious about because it's such a big topic right now is the nervous system. Okay.
Yeah.
So people are hearing this term everywhere, but I don't know if everybody really understands it. I know that I didn't know what that meant up until about a year ago. I did not realize I was in fight or flight my
Hmm.
whole life. And I just thought that was normal. But now that I've regulated my nervous system, It's like, I don't even know how I made it that far. And what happened was my body just crashed. I went through something called the dark night of the soul, that it was just kind of like, no.
Most of us
I
do.
tore my Achilles. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even walk my
Oh,
dog. I fell into depression. I fell into anxiety. But I look back, just like you would probably do. You'd probably go through all that all over again because I
yeah,
got to the other side. And look at what the beautiful thing that came out of your
totally.
experience, right? But so why don't
Yeah.
you tell us, talk to my audience a little bit about what the nervous system is and how to regulate it and what it looks like in a real moment to moment situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think, cortisol is kind of like a buzzword, right? Everybody's
Hmm.
using it as a buzzword. The reality is it's part of your hormonal system. When it comes to women, your hormones rule everything, like
Yeah.
literally everything. Something that I love to do at Holistic Goddess, which we did in February, is like live with your cycle month because most women don't even understand like how their hormonal cycle works.
Yes.
And especially in comparison with like a men's 24-hour cycle versus us, we have a 28-day cycle to go through the same arc. And so in that obviously is your cortisol. And if you are dysregulated, which most people are most of the
Hmm.
time, if they're not paying attention to it, then it's the same thing. It's hormones is what
Hmm.
it comes down to, and everything kind of disintegrates from there. And you can't regulate yourself. So this is when I really like to do what I call stacking your wellness. So, you might do a castor oil pack, which is really I can't really describe the feeling unless you've done it. Have you ever done a castor oil pack?
No, but
Okay.
I saw it on your website. I think
Yeah,
there's one for your belly or something.
there is. So I have one here. So it's
Th-
it's just a pack and it's cotton, organic
yeah.
cotton. And so you take you could do I mean you could do any of the roll-ons. It doesn't really matter.
Hmm.
They're all really amazing. So if you're really like stressed all the time, I would recommend the
The
lavender.
lavender. I was looking about that. That one's supposed to be really good for sleep. You got the lavender
Oh, great.
with the supplement, right? You've got
Yes, there's a sleep supplement as well. There's a little like bundle package for that.
right,
Which is again, if you're not sleeping, you're not repairing overnight
and
either.
that has
Um,
like melatonin in it, and it's got three ingredients:
Magnesium and
magnesium,
ashwagandha.
ashwagandha. I take that during the day, but maybe I
I do
should do the.
too. I do both. So I do like just straight ashwagandha actually from my naturopath,
Yeah.
but I do it like in the morning and then I also do it before bed, like two
Okay.
doses.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay, maybe I'll do that. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So tell us about
So
your.
the lavender is really great if you're like really like stress is a thing for you. I highly recommend the lavender, but you also, some people are scent sensitive. Some people don't like essential oils. There's just so many options. Then we do have just the pure golden castor oil. So you just rub it over your liver area on your right side. You don't need very much, like just like a few strokes really is all you need. And then you put your pack over top. So you like tie it around yourself. There's straps. And then like I have a t-shirt that I don't care about. Um, like it's a Spice Girls t-shirt, but like
It's
if it has
what?
some the Spice Girls t-shirt.
Oh,
So if I have
oh,
like
I
some
love that
little
T-shirt.
I know. Well, I love it too, but it's my castor oil shirt. So if it gets a few little oil stains on it, like I'm not sad about it because I'm,
Yeah.
wearing it when I'm doing a pack and I'm loving it.
Uh-huh.
So you just put the pack on and then you wrap it around yourself. And the pack naturally, because it has this layer here, which is keeping the heat in, trapping the heat against your body, it's
Yeah.
going to drive it into your skin and just like you have to try it to feel it, but it basically relaxes you like you
Do
can't
you
believe.
sleep with it?
You don't have to. So I personally don't. Some people are really sensitive. I always say start with like 20 minutes max because it can have kind of like a detoxy effect that you can feel the next day. Like the first time I did a castor oil pack, I was not given that advice. And I was just told, go do castor oil packs. And I'm like researching, okay, how do I do this? What does this mean? And I totally woke up like sick the next day because I
Yeah,
slept
what
with it
do
on
you
and it
detox
just
so
like
much?
so much. Yeah.
Okay,
So
and is there a
I
reason you
don't
put it over
recommend
your
doing it
liver? Does it
overnight.
detoxify your liver?
It keeps everything moving. So, I mean, I
Okay.
can't like tell you it detoxes your liver, but like
Right.
try
Okay.
it.
Okay. Okay. All
Try it,
right.
try it. Anyway, so you're just putting this on. You don't have to heat it because it is naturally like trapping the heat against your body. But I personally like using a hot water bottle. So then I'll put it on and then just put a hot water bottle over top and just like read a book for half an hour and then
Oh,
take it off,
that sounds
wipe
very
off the ex,
soothing. Yeah.
very soothing, wipe
Yeah.
off the excess oil and then go to bed. and you have an amazing sleep and you wake up in the morning and you're just like feeling great.
So this, okay. So my thing is, I don't have a problem falling asleep. I have a problem staying asleep.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty
these,
common.
all these. So for people that are listening that have a problem sleeping, I would think the pack, and like I said,
Yes.
that the pack goes with the one with the lavender
Yes.
oil,
You
correct?
if you're scent sensitive or sensitive to
Then
lavender,
do
like
the
that wouldn't
golden.
work for you, then do the golden. Yeah.
Okay.
But I personally like it with the lavender. And for me, it's just this like really soothing, like wind down routine.
I love your shirt. You have a Dotson?
I do.
I
I
have a
do.
dorky. It's a
My
long-haired
daughter
Dotson
loves
corgi.
corgis.
They're the
That's so
best
cute.
dogs. I love
So
that.
cute.
That's so
I
cute.
know, isn't it so cute? Yes, mine, she's my third wiener dog. Two of them are in heaven. And my current one, she's gonna be 5 in a couple weeks, but she's paralyzed.
She was always she become paralyzed, or she
She
was always.
did.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
her spine went. But you know what? She's been paralyzed for like a year and a half, and she is living her best life. She's
They
doing just
adapt.
fine.
Well, I could see that because they're long bodies. You have to really be careful. I
Yeah.
mean, he has steps to go up to the bed.
I know she had everything. She's my third one.
Oh
I've
my
never had
gosh.
problems with my other wiener dogs, but yeah, but she's very, very, very sweet, and she only has one eye. So she's
Oh my
paralyzed in one eye,
gosh.
but she's like the sweetest dog. Yeah,
They
she's
are.
very lovely.
He's the best dog I've ever had, and I've had a lot of dogs. Yeah, I just love
Aw.
that breed. Okay, getting back to the nervous system, what would you
Yeah.
say, what do you think is the biggest thing people are doing that's actually dysregulating themselves without even realizing it?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. Probably a lack of intentionality in
Mm,
general.
mm-hmm,
Right? I
mm-hmm.
find that if I intentionally move through my day, whether it's like a self-care ritual or like I was saying before, like stacking your wellness, like I'm busy, as I said, like I'm really busy. So my stacking your wellness is like I'm gonna read a book to like just chill out. I'm gonna like do a castor oil pack with the lavender. I'm gonna sit in front of a red light panel
Okay,
and
behavior
I'm gonna
stacking.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's what
gonna
I do.
like
Yeah.
intentionally breathe all at the same time. And
Yes.
then by the time my like 20, 30 minutes are up, I'm like, wow, I did so much for my body. Like
Yes.
one chunk.
Yes, and I believe because they say the most powerful time of your day is the first hour after waking up. Your
Yes.
brain is the most powerful, so whatever you're putting into it is going to really kind of set the tone for the rest of your day. And most people get on the
Yep.
phone, they start scrolling, they check emails and stuff like that. I stay away from that. And I do the same thing. I do at my grounding mat. I do the red light
Yeah.
therapy. I do my drinks in the morning. I listen
Yep.
to the binaural beats, or I have my brain tap. I mean, and it really
Yes.
does. So when something does challenging come in your path, I mean, you can't control that, right? But you're
No.
going to be a lot more equipped to deal with the situation as opposed to, turning on the news and freaking yourself out or getting a text that like is going to set your whole day. And it really does. It is a chain reaction. So I'm glad that you
It
said that.
really is. It really is. And you know what really helped me is my Aura ring, honestly, because it shows me when I am missing pieces.
My brother has been telling me to get that for years. So
I'm obsessed. I've
yeah,
had it for a
he's
year and a
obsessed
half.
too.
I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed. I love it. I don't skip a day. I always wear it. And it also taught me that stress in your body like shows up the way it measures it a lot differently than we would think. So like the other day, it said that I had like a 7 hour stress day. I'm going to tell you, I didn't have a 7 hour stress day, but I did eat food that I don't normally eat. And I did stay up later than I normally stay up. And those two things combined, like, really stressed out my body. But it tracks your resilience over time. And so it's like, I think it's exceptional, strong, solid, and then it goes down from there. And I do, depending on how busy our lives are, how much we're traveling, like I fluctuate between exceptional and strong pretty regularly, but
Okay.
I can look back and see and be like, oh yeah, that was a really busy week. And I definitely didn't spend enough time doing stuff for myself. I'm gonna like work on getting that back up and then I can watch it trend upwards. So for
Right.
me, it's like this check-in with myself. While of course, if I sat down, I would obviously know these things, but it's kind of a cheating way to be like,
Right. Right. And it
oh, I need to
creates
pay attention to this.
it creates awareness because sometimes you'll be like, oh my God, what's going on with my gut? I don't know what's going on with my gut. It's just one more tool that you can use
Yeah,
to get closer to the solution, correct?
totally. And
The
just
only
to
thing
help you keep things top of mind, which is
that
what I like,
yes, but the only
right?
thing
Because otherwise we just get distracted.
my only hesitation with that isn't that run, I mean, isn't that the Aura Ring searching for EMF isn't run with
So
conjunction?
the reason I chose Aura is because you can actually put it in airplane mode. And it's the only ring that you can do that with. It's always in
Oh,
airplane mode.
okay.
It's still measuring and doing all the things that you want it to do, but it's not talking to the app unless you tell it to. So I take it off, I put it on the charger, I let it talk to the app so I can look at the data, and then I put it back on airplane mode and I put it back on.
And you put, okay, now
So
you've
my
sold
doctor
me.
says that we don't die from old age, we die from inflammation. And I couldn't agree more. When I found him a couple of years ago, I was not in great shape. I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and he found out it was all related to my gut. Did you know that 90% of your dopamine and 90% of your serotonin are made in your gut? Okay. So I have been on all of his products ever since that day. But the ones that I want to talk to you about are the alkalizers. He's got one for coffee and he's got one for alcohol. What do? They make the beverage from acidic to alkaline, which is so important because if your body is too acidic, it is a breeding ground for disease. So you want to keep your body in an alkaline balance. So with the coffee, it comes either for black coffee or it comes flavored as a creamer. I love the flavored ones. Vanilla is my favorite, but I also love the hazelnut. They're all delicious. One scoop, and it does not break your fast for one. It changes your coffee from acidic to alkaline, which you don't have to feel guilty about drinking coffee anymore. And the one for alcohol does the same thing. 5 drops into any alcoholic beverage, and it will make it from acidic to alkaline, meaning no hangover. It doesn't change the taste, it doesn't change the color, and best of all, it doesn't change the buzz. You can still drink and enjoy yourself, all the while knowing that you're not causing inflammation in your body. So go to www.getoffyouracid.com and use the promo code Tina
Okay,
Marx
now you've sold
20.
me because that's really one of the reasons I
That
didn't.
was very important to me. Very
It's very
important because I
important.
had an Apple Watch before I knew about EMFs. And then I was like, oh, I can't have
How
that.
about that? How about I used to wear the
The AirPods too. I
wireless
know
ear. I was like,
this is my
yeah,
cord
that's it. I
always.
know. I don't care if I look like a geek, okay?
No, no, I see people on the street and I'm like, if they have cords, I'm like, you know what's up. You know.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So you talk a lot about women reconnecting with themselves, and I think so many
Yeah,
women out there feel disconnected, burnt out, and just don't
totally.
like themselves anymore. Why do you think so many women feel off even when they feel like they're doing everything right?
I think hormones.
Yeah.
I honestly, the answer is always hormones.
Hmm.
I think part of it is we have a much better understanding now about what perimenopause and menopause look like.
Hmm.
I'm 37. I'm starting to trend into that perimenopause situation. Um, and we have words for it now, which is great. And we can bring awareness to it and people can talk about it. What I do find very interesting is that there are cultures that don't even have a word for menopause.
Really?
So I think that we're kind of in this interesting balance in our Western society where right now it's very trendy to talk about perimenopause and then say that like perimenopause is ruining your life. But
Hmm.
then there's other cultures where perimenopause isn't really a thing and there's no word for it and you just kind of move through these phases. I think and I mean I can't speak for every woman obviously, but as somebody who did have the hormonal levels of a 65-year-old woman and had all of the symptoms of that, including the insane anxiety, the insane panic attacks, the night sweats, the sweating through my pajamas 3 times a night, like I did that for like 2 years and it was awful, but I think that cleaning myself up solved it for me. And I do think that paying attention to what I would call like your toxic bucket, like we
Hmm.
all have a bucket. And as long as it's not overflowing and you're
Hmm.
paying attention to how many toxins you can put in, you kind of can get away with it. I mean, we do live in a world where, our skies are not perfect, our air is not perfect. Depending on where you live, it's very polluted. Our food, depending on what kind of quality food you're buying, is sprayed with pesticides, it's GMO potentially, right? Like we're just not living in a world that is super clean anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, you have to be more intentional about what you can control.
Right.
Um, but I think having an understanding of hormones is really key because then you can start to explore what's happening with your own personal body because everybody is so different. And then I call it just getting curious with yourself, right? What works for me won't necessarily work for you. What works for you won't necessarily work for me. Like our bodies are bio-individual and we do have to treat them that way.
Right. Well, if for a woman who feels disconnected from her body right now, what's one simple ritual she can start with to feel more supported?
I mean, I'm gonna say castor oil.
The castor oil, yeah. Well, what about,
Yeah.
okay, so the mind, body, spirit too. Okay. So
Yeah.
that obviously is going to help your hormones and everything else. Do you have any kind of rituals of what you put into your mind every day or spiritually what you
Yeah.
do?
Totally. So I mean, I personally like to start my day with like some affirmations.
Okay.
I do it with the kids. You know, we have like decks of affirmation cards where we'll pick one and be like, hey, which one do you want today? And then we pick a card for the day. Um, I like to journal. I just, it's important to just pay attention,
Pay
be
attention.
aware, be
It's just
present,
goes back to intentional and
be
being present
present,
and being
be
present because we're
present. It
always
really is
either.
like the main thing.
Yeah, and I think that in itself speaks volumes because I think most people, like including myself in the past, not now, but I either living in the past or I was living in the future. And they say if you're
Yeah.
living in the past, you're going to be filled with regret, and you're living too far in the future, you're going to have anxiety. But if you're living just in the present moment, which is all we really have anyway,
It's all
right?
we have.
And
Yep.
that's going to be easier to get into flow because you can't really get into flow unless you're present, right?
No, it's so true. And like I try really hard to teach my kids that too, because nobody taught me that. And I
No.
had to go and learn it, in my like 20s and figure all these pieces out. And so I think that's something that we were maybe lots of women I know were not taught these things by their
Right.
mothers, right? I'm like a 90s child and everybody was taught to go, 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 go. It's like career woman time
Oh yeah,
central,
it's
right?
that's when it
It's
really
like
began to be a
the
hustle
era of the
society.
power suit. And now we're coming back into this more like trad wife situation where women are starting to look at what their role is and decide what fills their cup. And we're the interesting in between generation. So, I mean, I want my daughter, who's only 8, to understand that she can be whatever she wants to be,
Hmm.
but also teach her now little rituals, little coping, even just breathing so that she
Oh,
doesn't have to go and
breathing
find
is
that
key.
later.
Yes. Hey, real quick, let's talk about something we all deal with, but never really think about. Electromagnetic radiation. Yeah, EMF. It's everywhere from our phones, laptops, Wi-Fi routers, even our smart fit fridges. And no, I'm not saying ditch your tech. I mean, who could? But I am saying you can protect yourself from unnecessary exposure with Aries Tech. Backed by peer-reviewed studies and independent testing, Aries Tech makes compact, science-backed EMF modulation devices that help reduce the effects of electromagnetic radiation on your body. Rather than blocking the EMFs, Aries Tech's products work with your own body's electromagnetic field to balance out the effect. Yes, you heard that right. Our body is made up of energy, and this works with your own energy to balance out the effects. I've got one around my neck, one on my phone, and one in my living room. And honestly, it gives me peace of mind knowing I'm doing something small that can make a big difference over time. So whether you're working from home, gaming for hours, or just scrolling your feed in bed, protect your space. Check them out at ariestech.com and use the code TINA25, 25% off your order. That's AIRES tech.com because your body deserves better. Yeah, that was the quickest way for me to regulate my nervous system. Because
Mhm.
think about it, whenever you're getting anxiety, it's like you're not breathing at all. That's where the old breathe comes from. When you're upset,
Yes.
somebody goes breathe. I never got it until now, but there's, all these cliches eventually like make sense. Um,
Yeah.
you talked earlier about working with the body instead of fighting it. What does it actually look like in everyday life?
So My favorite way to work with my body is to live with my cycle. So I look at when I'm going to have my period and I intentionally plan my life throughout the month as much as I possibly can around my cycle. So I
Mhm.
understand that, in my follicular phase, I'm going to be feeling great and I really tackle a lot of stuff. I like to try and book all of my travel during that time, right up to ovulation and a little bit past. And then I understand that my late luteal, that last week or even like 5 days kind of before my period, plus my period. So it's like a 10-day span. I'm like, I'm going to sleep more. I'm going to not fast as long. I fast according to my cycle as well.
I think this
Um,
is tremendous information. I've never heard that before, but it makes so much sense. Why?
yeah.
Why didn't we take this into consideration? I mean, I've said this before. Sometimes we treat ourselves like machines,
We do.
right?
We do. And we're not. We are cyclical beings and we have to understand that. And I think that's working with your body. That's understanding that you have a cycle and during your luteal phase, which is like the majority of your cycle, you are going to feel more tired. Your body literally 3 days before your period requires more carbs. Like intentionally
Yeah,
give it more carbs instead of starving it.
right.
Understand that you need to sleep a little bit more, that you need to rest more, that you need more intentional breaks in your day. Like
Mhm.
whatever that can look like in your life, I think is incredibly empowering. And I have been living with my cycle since my cycle was a mess, like 8 years
Yeah.
ago,
And now
7 years ago.
this is why you're so balanced. When you
It's
say
life
carbs,
changing.
are you talking about like your healthy carbs, or are you talking about like more bread, or
I mean, I
what are some
like
healthy carbs that somebody could do like right before their cycle? Because I remember, I don't have my cycle anymore, but I remember used to get really hungry and grab for anything, you know?
totally. So I try not to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that usually looks like yams. I
Yams.
like
Okay.
yams.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yams.
but I
Sweet
mean,
potatoes.
it's just paying attention, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
also I feel that denying yourself is not helpful. I mean, obviously binging is not helpful, but also if you're like, I just really want a piece of toast, like,
Yeah.
do it. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm all about that. I'm
Yeah.
not about punishing myself anymore. I've done enough of that my whole life, and
No,
that doesn't get you. That is not useful at all. And
no.
another tidbit that I just was like recently, this last year, learned is that just don't put too much on your plate to commit to, because when you do, because I used to try and commit to, it really is so bad for your psyche. Because if you
Yeah.
overload yourself and you don't get it done, what are you telling your psyche? You're telling your psyche you're not capable of getting it done. But are you
Mhm.
also putting too much? Like I say, 3 priorities for the day. If you can get past 3, great, but don't
I like that.
expect more than that. Yeah. So, what kind of impact are you hoping to create through Holistic Goddess?
Just want women to feel empowered, honestly.
Mhm.
And I I obviously really believe in holistic health. I'm a very, very passionate advocate for holistic health. And that doesn't have to mean like being super crunchy. Like I am super crunchy. And that's okay, right? But
What
there's
does that mean? What does crunchy mean?
like well, I don't know. It's like granola mom, right? Like I'm
Oh,
like
okay.
all very holistic in every aspect of my life. Like
Hmm.
my kids are using homeopathics and not Tylenol. And like I'm like
Right.
way
Me too.
deep there.
Me too. Yeah.
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 But like for lots of
Honestly,
women,
you
that's not
have
the
to.
case.
Yeah, yeah. And when
You
you
have to.
going back
You have
to
to.
with the white, you called them the white jackets. I love the way I'm going to use that from now on. But
Yeah.
I had my own experience because I had breast cancer in 2011 and they wanted me to do radiation and tamoxifen.
Oh,
And I didn't. I did it all through holistic, and it hasn't come back since 2011. So,
it's
I
incredible.
think more and more people, there is a place for traditional medicine or the white
There is. There
jackets,
absolutely is, right?
but you got to do your
It's
own
the
research.
emergency care, right? It's the
Yeah,
you're
you're
in
in a
an
car crash and you're going to
emergency.
die and you need to be sewn up, right? But as you said, when you were going through, and I was thinking, I went through the same thing when I had that. Started looking at the back of my labels, and like everything in my bathroom had to be thrown out because I remember
Yep.
I was looking for these 3 key ingredients that were cancer causing, and all of them had to be let go. So, especially when it comes to your skin, you have
Yep.
to make people go like makeup or whatever they're putting on their skin, or it's, oh, retinol. Yeah, but it's going in your skin, which is the largest organ of your body. It's going
Largest
into your
organ. It's
bloodstream.
absorbing everything.
Yes.
You have to be, I would feel that you have to be the most careful with what you're putting on your skin.
Yes, I agree. And we don't even think twice about that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys, like I said, I love your products, and I
Thank you.
was talking to you before it came on. I didn't even realize how much you had, but you are offering my audience a
Yes.
10% off if they use the promo code Tina. So
Amazing.
yeah, and that's going to be in my link tree. I'm putting you in my link tree in my Instagram. I'll put it in
Awesome.
the description for this podcast. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and enlightening me on all this. And thank you for doing what you're doing. Really, I think it's just I think it's the more people that are doing this, the more that we have a better understanding of ourselves, we're going to live a better
Mhm.
life for ourselves, you know. And I think when you're happy, you do better and you do good.
Totally.
And when you're not
Totally.
happy, it just bleeds out. So we need more
Yeah.
people like you in our life. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you all for listening. We will see you next week. I hope you guys all have a great week, and we'll see you next week.